Hi there, I'm Rob McCoy of RAM Communications. Welcome back to another segment of Telecom 101. In this segment, we are going to talk about what I call the rules of number portability or local number portability. I have 6 rules here, and without further ado, let's dive in and make sure that you understand why this is important to your organization's phone service. Here we go. Rule number 1, understand what number portability is and how it works. Local number portability, or LNP, as it's known in the acronym world, means that you can take your business phone numbers and you can actually port them or move them to another service provider. We've done this for several decades for our clientele. However, there are some very important details that you want to keep in mind if you have not had experience moving phone numbers. So on to rule number 2. Understand that your organization own your phone numbers. I say this because unfortunately in our business, there are representatives that for some reason will tell you from time to time that you can't keep your phone numbers. That's absolutely not true. Phone number ownership, if you will, is protected by the Federal Communications Commission in Washington, D.C. The important thing is that you do, in fact, own your phone numbers. Rule number 3, seek out a service provider, an agent, or a consultant like RAM, who is willing to work with you to port your phone numbers. There is a process involved, but with the proper preparations, you can indeed move your phone numbers to another service provider of your choice in a somewhat efficient and non-disruptive fashion. Rule 4, identify and organize your list of phone numbers. If you are not sure what your important phone numbers are, you can bet your new phone company or service provider isn't going to have much more information than you do. There's some necessary investigation you need to perform. For example, do I still need to keep a fax number that I haven't used often in the past 5 years? This is the time to audit, if you will, your services, your phone numbers, and see what you truly need to keep and perhaps what you may be able to jettison. Part of what's going to help you in this investigation is requesting what is known as a CSR, or Customer Service Report. Not all phone companies provide what I consider to be an adequate CSR. Some companies like Verizon or AT&T will provide a fairly exhaustive report that will show all the phone numbers and even the features. Things like call transfer, call waiting, hosted voicemail that may be assigned to a phone number. Other phone companies may not be so accurate or thorough in their reporting. You may simply just get an email that shows a list of phone numbers and nothing else, which is not terribly helpful. If you're stuck in the latter, then consider working with an expert such as RAM who can help you in your identification and your porting process, because you may need some additional expertise to fill in the gaps. Finally, make sure that you test your numbers. Test all the phone numbers that you care to keep. Make sure that they're working. If you have any numbers that happen to have any kind of a service issue, then now is a great time to get those issues fixed before you actually establish a date and have your new provider port your numbers. Rule 5, be sure to arrange for your phone number porting after hours. You risk chaos if you try to port your phone numbers during regular business hours, and here's why. We are dealing with technology. Things do happen from time to time, especially when you are moving a critical service from a losing carrier to, let's call them the winning carrier, the new service provider you're going to. You may not, in fact, get all the cooperation that you need from the losing provider. This is why you want to test and move numbers after hours, because if there is any type of interruption, anything that's a prolonged issue, then at least you're not putting yourself and your organization through the stress of downtime while the porting activity takes place. And finally, Rule 6, be sure that you test E911. You certainly will test inbound calls, outbound calls, long distance, things like caller ID, sure. But make sure that you take the opportunity to test 911. You want emergency services to be able to locate you or your staff if they have to place an emergency call. Here's the other reason that you need to carefully test 911. Number portability has changed in the last decade with voice over IP services. The technology is such that you can actually move a phone number from one city to another and have it work on your phone system. That's a fantastic development for your marketing, for your public identity with your customers and your vendors. However, when you do that, understand that a phone number, for example, that is native to the Denver, Colorado area is not going to perform the same way for 911 services if you move it to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Emergency services in Santa Fe, New Mexico will not be able to find you with that particular phone number. Why? Because that particular phone number still is addressed and associated with the Denver, Colorado area. So how do you overcome that? Our strong suggestion is this. Either one, install a local POTS line that can be programmed through the phone system and used exclusively for 911 calling. Or number two, establish a new DID number, a local DID number, with your new service provider that is specifically dedicated and programmed for 911 calling. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you found this information useful. You should, because make sure that the next time you or your organization is looking at adding, moving, or changing phone numbers, that you keep these rules in mind that we've discussed. If you have any questions or concerns or need further information, by all means, give us a call or visit our website or our YouTube page, and we will be happy to help. Thank you, and have a great day.